Good afternoon and welcome to Midday Live, coming to you from our studio here at Adesanwe in Accra. My name is Martin Asiedu-Date. Let's settle for the headlines for this afternoon. Ongoing investigations by the Office of the Special Prosecutor has revealed more cash was discovered in the home of the former Sanitation and Water Resources Minister, Cecilia Dapaah. We have details for you. Also coming up, Ghana Education Service orders Central Regional Director of Education to liaise with the school authorities to investigate the viral video of violence at the Decidal College. In business, all banks submit recapitalization plans ahead of September deadline. That's according to the Bank of Ghana. And on the international front, wildfires kill 34 in Algeria as heat wave sweeps through North Africa. Thank you for staying with us. Let's settle for the details now. And starting from the big story has been trending for the last few days. The ongoing investigations by the Office of the Special Prosecutor has revealed more cash was discovered in the home of the former Sanitation and Water Resources Minister, Cecilia Dapaah. The former minister, who was granted bail late last night, is currently being investigated over the missing $1 million from her home. My colleague Eric Mawena-Egbeta has details of what went on.
The offices of the Special Prosecutor, the building you're seeing right behind us, that's the agency currently investigating the former Sanitation and Water Resources Minister, Cecilia Dapaah. What we know based upon ongoing investigation is that yesterday, her cantonment official residence were thoroughly searched by officials from the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and then her Abelemkpe residence as well were searched. What we know as well is that relatives of the former minister were questioned in relation to the stash of cash which has been stolen and has become the subject of media controversy, social media debate, and the anger of many Ghanaians. But interestingly, what we've gathered from our sources is that from the search at her residence yesterday, a lot more cash has been discovered. And it took the officials of the Special Prosecutor close to 5 hours alone in counting this amount of cash which was discovered, a lot more money discovered in her home. Indications as well, what we've got is that she's been given a lifestyle assessment form which she is to fill and complete as investigations continue. She was granted bail in the late hours of Monday at about 10:30 p.m. with one surety. The stated figure still not quite known, as officials from the Office of the Special Prosecutor continue to remain tight-lipped on it. But what we know and what we can confirm is that investigation is ongoing into this matter, which has become a huge debate for a lot of individuals. There's expectation for a quick-paced investigation, but what we know from officials of the Special Prosecutor is that this will take time if anything is to go by, because more money has been found in her residence. Family relatives are being questioned. She's expected to fill a lifestyle assessment form which is seeking to ascertain the source of funding of all of these monies, a lot more which has been discovered in her home, and that the investigation will be thorough and that Ghanaians should exercise patience with the investigative authority, which is the Office of the Special Prosecutor. From the offices of the Special Prosecutor, Eric Mawena-Egbeta, TV3 News.
All right, so still on this subject matter, let's speak to private legal practitioner Martin Kpebu on it. He was one of those who had asked for the Special Prosecutor to step in when the news broke, in the latter part of last week. He's joined us via Zoom for a quick chat. Counsel, a very good evening to you. Thank you for your time.
Hi, good afternoon, Name. Good.
Right. To start with, I mean, beyond, we know that over the weekend on Key Points here on TV3, you were one of the key voices that asked the special prosecutor, for instance, to immediately take it up and then start investigating. He has done that. What are your immediate thoughts on how it's gone so far, the invitation, the fact that they went with her to her home to search? They've broadened the investigation to include family and close friends. And so far, we know that she is also filling some forms to give further details of this. What's your assessment of it?
Okay, so far so good. It's good for our democracy for a number of reasons. That at least now, within the space of 3 months, we've seen the arrest of 2 ministers, one former, that's from Boating, and then another one, a current or sitting minister. So it creates an atmosphere of good times, that we are in a new era, and the special prosecutor looks poised to do a game changer in this area of fighting corruption. Okay, yes, so far so good. We should be happy, because you know the optics are very important, very, very important, because you see, when the public get excited, then they are more likely to give the special prosecutor more support. And don't forget, this support, which we will call public opinion, is very important to be able to get the special prosecutor to get the job done. When the public are behind you, solidly behind you, it's such a motivating factor. Then he can stand up against the forces. Because look, let's not kid ourselves. The forces at the other end are very great. Look, and they have access to so many things we can't even finish discussing within this short period. So it's such a tough fight that when you have the public rooting for the special prosecutor, then he can fight well.
Could that also put too much pressure on the special prosecutor to, hurry this investigation process? You know, the saying that justice hurried is also justice buried. Could this public interest and pressure force the special prosecutor to probably, do or say or act in ways that may not necessarily be in accordance with law?
Oh, definitely. I mean, theoretically, it can happen. That's as a theoretical question. If you say so, yes, there is a chance, because to the extent that Mr. Jabin is a human being, Kissi Jabin is a human being, yes, theoretically it can happen. But I'm just hoping that practically it won't. And this question you've asked, yes, and it's good. I keep saying throughout the commentaries here, I've been saying that this is one area where we should listen to the skeptics more often, more and more. We should create more space for the cynics and the skeptics to air their views, because when that happens, it's going to make us wiser. Because let's not forget that President Kufuor is not interested in this fight. He's a clearing agent. President Kufuor is a mother serpent of corruption. So anything he gets that he can use to thwart the efforts of the special prosecutor, he will do. So when people are saying all this, the cynics, the skeptics, and the rest, I want to listen to them very well, because people like me, because we support Kissi Jabin, we stand the danger of thinking that, oh, nothing can happen, oh, Kissi Jabin can deliver. Meanwhile, we forget that the forces at the opposite end, Madam Dapa's camp, are strong. They are not kids to be just pushed over. No, there are no pushovers. They are going to fight very strongly. So let's listen to the skeptics. But I'm hoping that practically Mr. Kissi Jabin would keep his head cool and not be giving to the public too much push to hurry up.
Right. And finally, Counsel, the asset declaration law, as we know it, is that the content of whatever assets are declared is in an envelope and sits in the office of the Auditor General. There are calls for it to actually be made public. So before you come to office, when you declare your assets, the whole country or those interested must get to know you have X number of houses, X number of property, X number of cars, before you take the office. Is that a call you will support, that the public must know what is declared instead of just the Auditor General?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no two ways about it. Every serious anti-corruption crusader supports this point. And Martin, let's remind ourselves, even during the PNDC era, they used to publish these assets. under the PNDC era, so the previous law before this Act 550 came in, used to make provision for the publication of the assets. And so the PNDC appointees did. Today, you can walk to Assembly Press and still lay hands on PNDC appointees, on copies of the Gazette, showing PNDC appointees who publish their assets. I don't know, the various reasons have been given to how we came into a constitutional dispensation and then allowed these declarations to be made secret. Right. But thankfully, the IMF is pushing government of Ghana, President Kufuor, to pass the new law. And under the new law, then you get publication. Right. Because that's the thing. President Kufuor wasn't interested, but IMF has made it part of the conditionalities. Okay. So soon, the president has to deliver on it. Otherwise, we may not get some of the subsequent money, the tranches that have come later.
Okay, thank you so much for your time and thoughts. As always, Martin Kpebu is a private legal practitioner. On his thoughts there. So clearly the conversation continues, and we're staying on issues regarding Madam Cecilia Dapaah, because a leading member of the New Patriotic Party and a political scientist, Dr. Amoako, has criticized President Akufo-Addo for vouching for the integrity of the former sanitation minister following a $1 million scandal which is currently being investigated. Dr. Ba spoke to my colleague in Kumasi, our Ashanti regional correspondent, William Evans Inkum.
She get that kind of money from? That's the pertinent question. Where did it come from? And Special Prosecutor, Attorney General should ask that question. We were here when Victoria Hammer was fired. This one was not fired, he resigned. And the president said she's sure her integrity will be displayed or whatever. How? So you wish her well, that's okay, say that. But don't tell us you're sure her integrity will be restored. From what evidence? The person who has money under her bed at home, that's the person you are defending without any evidence? Why? She should defend herself before you say, okay, it's good. Ahead of time, where did the money come from? That's the question the president is supposed to ask, not praising her and hoping that her integrity is restored. She is the #1 law enforcer, and that's a pertinent question to be asked.
Let's shift our attention to education. It was a very disturbing video that went viral in the last few days. So Adisadel College has announced the outcome and outright dismissal of a student who was captured in a viral tape violently assaulting a junior in a dormitory. The video, which indicated, the school authorities indicated that the incident happened on June 30 of this year, and says that the dismissal is subsequent or a subject of approval of the Board of Governors and the Ghana Education Service. Judith Awachitando has details of this video.
Oh, my son, you do that. Okay. Hey,
it's an issue that has taken social media by storm. A viral video of a student of Adisadel College abusing another. The incident, which happened on June 30, 2023, shows the student placing significant pressure on the neck of the victim and subsequently hitting his head against a metal bunk bed. This has raised questions about the extent of bullying that continues to occur in schools, as well as whether or not crowding and the lack of discipline in schools play a significant role. Hours after the incident went viral, the Ghana Education Service in a press release indicated that the management of the service was deeply concerned and condemned the act, describing it as barbaric. Currently, a number of sanctions have been meted out to the culprit, housemaster, victim, and students who witnessed the incident without intervening. The culprit faces outright dismissal, while others face different forms of suspensions.
There have, however, been varying reactions from major stakeholders in the education sector. Deputy Ranking Member on Parliament's Education Committee, Clement Apak, is of the view that the housemaster is undeserving of a suspension.
I disagree with that decision to relieve the housemaster of his responsibilities. The housemaster was not in the know, and if nobody had the courage to report what had occurred to the housemaster, then on what basis do you punish the housemaster for not acting on a matter that he had no knowledge of? The victim was so intimidated, so afraid to even report such an act of barbarity meted out against him.
Educationist Peter Partey is, however, of a different view.
He is the head of that particular house, and whatever happens within that house, he is held responsible. Whether he know or he doesn't know, it's not a point.
Okay.
Now, I think that that part of the letter seems to suggest that a lot of inspection have not been carried out in that particular house. Because one, how was the student able to get the phone into the dormitory? Aside the normal prefect structure, they have informants, and that is what even the security people also do. So within a dormitory, you need to get somebody in there who gives you informal information about activities that goes on in the dormitory.
The sanctions are pending a final decision from the Board of Governors and the Ghana Education Service. Judith Chitando, TV3 News.
All right, so I mean, it's very gory looking at those visuals. But information we're just picking indicate that the Central Regional Minister and the Central Regional Police Commander have both attended to the university, at Disadel College, I should say, following the viral video where a student is seen molesting a junior in the school's dormitory. The Regional Minister, Marigold Esan, and the Central Regional Police Commander are currently in a closed-door meeting with authorities of the school. And the information also gathered indicate that 5 of the students who were in that video have currently been moved to the Central Regional Directorate of the Ghana Education Service to assist with investigation. So that's the news just coming in by way of update regarding that video, where you can also see the officials, the Central Regional Police Commander and the Central Regional Minister have both gone to the school, that's the school premises on your screens as we speak, to meet with officials there and then also to get further information regarding that very unfortunate video we just watched. But let's speak to Bright Appiah, who is the Executive Director of Child Rights International. Mr. Appiah, good afternoon and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good afternoon.
What are your initial reactions to this video? There are those who are already saying that it happens in secondary schools. There's no big deal about this. But there is also a cause for concern, isn't there? Well, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, for me, yeah, it's a usual practice that goes on, but I feel that this has gone beyond the limit, an act that we have tolerated for a while, and is taking root in most of our secondary schools. And watching the video, I see this as an act of wickedness, which 2 things must be deduced from it. First has to do with the criminal aspect of it. Assault has been committed, and I feel that the right institutions that have the mandate to do that should step in. Then also the issue of the welfare of the children, especially to determine whether they are in their right frame of mind to be able to do such an act, so that if they've gone ahead to do some of these things, then for me, it goes beyond the ordinary behavior that you expect that children would exhibit in schools. So there's a need for us to also look at the psychological aspect of it, in looking at the individuals and then also looking at the school environment itself, whether psychologically it is conducive for children to conduct themselves in that environment.
And still on the back of that, we know that the immediate action that was taken by the school authorities include the fact that the students in question, the aggressor and the person who was injured, have both been suspended. And some are questioning, why do you suspend someone who clearly and obviously has been injured by another? You think it's a good decision the school has taken?
Oh, not at all. I feel that sometimes we allow institutions to only use the administrative authority to take certain decisions that will not necessarily be in the best interest of children. In matters of this nature, once there are children involved, the law requires that there are processes that you have to go through to come to that conclusion. And that conclusion must inform the decision that we'll take within your administrative authority. but we did not see anything whatsoever in relation to those processes that they engaged, but they just ruled and took a decision that these two children must go home. And I find it very unfortunate. Even in an event where a child has committed offense, the law recognizes that certain right must be given to the child, especially when you realize that the conduct of the child goes beyond the normal behavior that we have to see in our secondary schools and all that. So you just not throw the child into society to go and continue that kind of act, but you try to carry out rehabilitation programs to ascertain the reasons and how conducive the environment made it possible for them to conduct themselves in that way. Right. And when you come to the victim, you know, a child has gone through such issue, and the only thing that the school can do is to let both of them go home. They have separate needs psychologically that you have to work on to be able to come to a certain conclusion. But we didn't see that, and we expect that Ghana Education Service would reverse that decision, subject the children to what we call the investigation and then to obtain the social inquiry report, and it's on the basis of that we can determine what next the action will be.
Mr. Appiah, thank you so much for your time and thoughts as always. Bright Appiah is Executive Director, Child's Rights International there. You're still watching Midday Live on TV3. Let's shift our attention to Parliament now, because the uncertainty in the presentation of the media review of the Finance Minister's budget is receiving heavy criticism from the NDC MPs in Parliament. Government initially held that the presentation of the budget should be on July 27, a position that was shifted backward to July 25 after consultations with the Speaker of the House. And on Friday, the majority in Parliament, in their presentation of the business statement, opted for July 27, which is actually Thursday. It is emerging that the Finance Minister will now present the mid-year budget on Monday. Some MPs have been reacting to this uncertainty.
What's your reaction? My brother, we are always available here from 8 o'clock to start our sitting 10 o'clock. I'm telling you that they have no budget. Budget for what? They've stole all the money when the millions are in their bedrooms. How are they going to budget and use what to execute a budget? They don't have a budget. They are not ready. There's no money. So it's only coming to talk, wait, and come on, yob and go away. It's terrible. There's no budget, my brother. It's just because of the constitutional requirement that they are doing it. That's why I'm saying that. You don't have, how do you budget when you don't have income? Salary payments are not done. Look, common fund is not in first quarter. So many payments, you know. People are starving. So many releases are not. There's no release money too. The ministers are not operating. Government ministers are not working. There's no money. Parliament here, we are broke. Everywhere, everybody's broke, because the monies are in their bedrooms. So he's only trying to meet the constitutional requirement that they are going to submit a mid-year budget. It's not a mid-year budget review. It's a statement. He's coming here. You wait and see. When he comes, he will not spend more than 30 minutes, because he has nothing to tell Ghanaians. He has nothing to tell Ghanaians. Apart from probably coming to talk of 1 or 2 taxes that we are all waiting to see the type of taxes they are bringing, and then we'll see the way forward. Because they will continue to tax. And they are not getting the money, because you don't tax, you tax income. We don't tax people who have no money. If there's no income, you cannot get your tax.
The date for presentation has become a problem. So as we speak, I'm not even sure that they will come on Monday. I'm not certain. Having failed on a number of occasions, I don't even trust. I'm sure it will come at the very day that we rise. From what they are doing, there's no expectation. I'm saying that they are already coming to meet constitutional requirements. That's all. Look, we are in today for government business. The government itself is not ready to transact their own business. What are they? We are here in our numbers. What are the MPP MPs? What is the finance minister? They assured the entire country that today they will present the supplementary budget, only to come to Parliament that the Minister of Finance have run away. We can't even find him to present the mini budget. It's unfortunate. Everything is in disarray.
Right, let's speak to parliamentary correspondent Komla Kluche now. He's joined us via Zoom. Komla, thank you for your time. I'm picking up from where Samson Ahi, MP for Bodi, left off talking about the fact that they, the minority side, are ready for government business. The government itself, or the majority side, are not ready. Talk to us about the numbers in parliament right now.
Well, we've seen some significant increment on the number of MPs who have come to the House now, at least on the majority side. Quite a sizable number of them are in the House. The minority also has some good number on their side as well. And so nobody has actually raised the issue of quorum now. The Speaker bargaining himself is there. What's currently ongoing now is private business, and the private business here remains that, questions that have been asked on the floor is the Chieftaincy Minister, Stephen Asamoah Boateng, is answering questions from members who have posed that to this ministry. So the numbers have actually seen a little increment of the sort. I'm unable to count the number of them, but when they started for about 30 minutes, the numbers were quite disappointing.
Right. Okay. And then, Kamala, finally and briefly, we also know that the Speaker asked that there should be a committee to investigate the leaked IGP tape. What's the latest in the House regarding that?
That 7-member committee has been established. Let me just take you briefly through it. Samuel Atachia, a lawyer, he is the chairman of the committee on the side of the majority. Patrick Yabuama is also a lawyer, who's also a member of the committee. Ophelia Mensah, who is a retired police officer and an infantryman MP, is also a member of the committee representing the majority side. Now, the minority, James Agalba, who is a former deputy interior minister, he is the vice chairman of the committee. Then Eric Opoku, a former Greek minister, is also a member of the committee. Then Peter Tobu is also a member of the committee. Because of their expertise, if you look at them, all these people have some level of expertise. Now, the technical person is Dr. Isaac Lati Annan. We understand he's a forensic expert. As to the kind of forensics, we are not too sure, but this is the person that has been communicated to the House by the Speaker. Early on, the minority presented their list as far back as Thursday last week. The Speaker reminded the majority that by 1 p.m. today, they need to provide their list. That's the majority side. But just after the Speaker made that known, then they went ahead and then presented their list. And so they now have it. But what it is that they will have to take the holidays. They arise on the 3rd of August. And so they will take up to the first week when they resume, which is actually unknown, but it's being suggested that maybe the ending of September or the first week of October, when they come, they'll be able to present the report to the plenary.
Right. Komla Kluche, thank you so much for that update from the House of Parliament. He's our parliamentary correspondent. We're staying on issues regarding politics because the New Patriotic Party's regional and constituency executives who intend to contest in parliamentary primaries in constituencies with sitting MPs have up to September 20 to resign. Metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives are also not eligible to contest in constituencies where the party has a sitting member of parliament. The decision was taken by the National Council of the New Patriotic Party.
A statement issued on Monday after the National Council meeting on Thursday, July 20, indicated that all aspiring presidential candidates would be given the validated album for the Special Electoral College at least 1 month to the date of the Congress. An elections committee has therefore been constituted to supervise the conduct of the Special Electoral College and the National Congress. The Council also took a serious view of some comments and utterances it described as unhealthy from some aspiring presidential candidates and their supporters, which it said do not augur well for the unity and cohesion of the party, and asked the aspirants to comply with the Code of Conduct or risk being sanctioned, including being disqualified from contesting in the primaries. The statement also noted indicated that the photo album or register that was used to elect the constituency executives between April 22, 2022 and May 2, 2023 shall be the same album that will be made available to the Electoral Commission for the conduct of the presidential primaries. The NPP Special Electoral College is scheduled for August 26 to be held at each of the 16 regional capitals.
Right, and to some news in politics or still on the NPP. So let's give you the specifics of what all of this means, because the party is saying that all the 10 presidential aspirants of the party are to sign an undertaking not to contest as independent presidential candidates or as candidates on the ticket of any other political party if they fail to get the nod of the delegates in the party's presidential primaries. This and more was contained in rules and regulations issued by the party. So on your screens, you can see some of the specific decisions. It says that the elections will be held in a